Good afternoon to everyone. Is this thing okay? Okay. It's a very tough match. Not many people know Maniema. Fortunately, we played them before. I think that was in their inception stages. The fact that they've taken out Petro out of the Champions League, it's already saying they're a very good team. It's a team that is very good on set pieces. A team that probably both goals against Petro and from set pieces. Big striker, number 32, Kitambala, something like that. Hustling and bustling, and they've got very speedy wingers and very technical wingers in Mboma and Mbala, with a potential of number 7, Tisula or Isuala, something like that. A very creative player that causes a lot of problems. Noya, unfortunately, suspended. I think they've got the number 6, Lucas or something like that, whom I think is the engine room of the team in the midfield. Then the captain at the back, Rondani, number 25. And then Simete, the right-footed left centre back. With 2 fullbacks, Lupini, very aggressive, and Mawonda on the left. A very big team physically. No wonder they are strong on set pieces. Very direct sometimes. They also have number 10, who, for me, Iswala and the number 10, Rashid, are the most creative players for the team. And it's a very, very formidable team that we must never take anything for granted. We expect a very tough match. We expect a team that is very physical, a team that will put us under a lot of pressure. We're also hoping they will also press from the top, because they are a very good team. And I'm hopeful that if they sit in, maybe that will help us. It will be a little bit tough if they press us from the top. But we are hoping for the best.
Before we proceed, I just want to make sure from the
focus on restarting the season again with what happens from tomorrow going forward.
100%. We have a big responsibility. We know this one is our bread and butter, the Champions League and the championship. We cannot afford to falter in that one. We have a big responsibility to our fans, to our board, to ourselves and our families as well, because it's one tournament that we've always been trying to win, and we have to push very hard to get to that level where we can find the team in the last match of the tournament at least, then see what will happen from there.
Ma question c'est de savoir déjà en vous suivant, vous montrez une très grande maîtrise de l'équipe de Maniema Union, et la question c'est de savoir quelles sont à votre avis les forces et les faiblesses de cette équipe de Maniema Union que vous semblez très bien maîtriser.
Coach, I've been impressed because you really know Maniema team when you did your homework. But I would like to know if what are the weaknesses and the strength of the team in terms of strategy and the technique.
Maniema.
Yes, Maniema.
No, I would mention more their strengths, because I think, like I said, they are very strong on set pieces. They are very strong on the wing play with those wingers. Biala, there is also Mola, number 21, who plays on the left but is right-footed. Mboma, I think, is your trump card. It's one of your most important players. Very quick, dynamic. I'm not sure whether he's a good dribbler, but I think when there is space behind, he's very dangerous. Biswala, number 7, very creative, causes a lot of problems, good passes, full range of passes, can switch play, can shoot from range. Rashidi can also do the same, good ball carrier as well. The centre backs mainly try to play the ball to the striker or to find the opposite winger, because they play with a lot of wing play and wingers that are expected to exploit the space behind you. Very tall team, very big team, and obviously that in that alone there is potential weaknesses.
You know, the style of play introduced into Sundowns this season, the balls into 6 and the big switches diagonally in behind. Is this the competition where we perhaps see that kind of way of playing coming to the fore the most? I know you said you don't want them pressing really, but perhaps maybe that this is the best way for your tactics to shine through.
I think it's the way of play that we have adopted, not merely for the Champions League, but to try and improve our chance creation, because we've been playing well, but we've not been creating a lot of chances, and we have a bigger responsibility, because look at the game we played over the weekend where we had 20 shots at goals, but we only scored 1 goal. The opposition only had 3 and they scored 2. So it's our responsibility to try to maximize on the number of chances first before we go deeper into trying to be a little bit more clinical in terminating our attacks. But I think the team is responding well in that regard. It's just that we were unlucky in the previous match. I think we still created enough to win the match. Maybe some decisions in the final third were not very good. To a certain extent, I think the 100,000 runs also caused problems in my team. But let me leave it there.
Have you found that on a mental side you've had to work a lot to get the players focused for tomorrow's game, or is it because it's Sundowns, the big team, players have that ability to bounce back immediately from setbacks like the one on Saturday?
You will never really know whether you've managed to get their minds where you want them to be. But from what I've seen, I think the team is back. I think everybody is aware of the challenges that we've been through, more especially with our internationals, because I think that was also a big factor in the game that we played over the weekend, because we couldn't change the team that we know can make us win the match, but at the back of our minds we also knew we had a lot of players that had played 2 90s in a short space of time, and that had an effect in the latter stages of the game, which is why we also had to make some changes. But I think the team is looking good. The only thing that might be important is to make sure that the team is fresh, because we can't make any legitimate excuse. We have to try to win matches and not make excuses.
Mark Strand, talking about it as well. Coach, just the last 2 seasons, semi-finals, won the AFL, but semi-finals in the Champions League. If you look at your combination, do you think that little bit that was missing, because it was so close in both those semis, do you think you've got a slightly stronger combination for this year's Champions League? And obviously for you, you know, it's nothing new to you, been here since before 2016, I think, even the unsuccessful season before that, as part of the coaching structure, so you know Champions League very well. So do you think you've got what it takes to go that step further? There's been no final since 2016. And if I can ask a second one, just going back to Bloem, I know you want to put it in your past. Is there a little bit of personal regret, because a trophy could definitely have helped you solidify your position as the head coach, which, yeah, what you're doing for the first time? I know you've been part of co-coaching structures and you've won trophies in that, but thanks.
First, I think the team we have is stronger and is capable of winning the Champions League. We just have to believe now, and hopefully fixtures will not cause problems for us, because I strongly believe we have tried to do our level best to keep the team as fresh as possible up until this stage. And I think beyond the match that we are going to play tomorrow, we should be having maybe better periodization in terms of the freshness of the team. But in terms of personality, I think we've got what it takes to compete and win the Champions League this year. And that has been probably my primary target from the beginning of the season, because I know we are capable of winning anything else. It's important to try and push for the Champions League, and I strongly believe we've got what it takes to win the Champions League. And as for the second question, I think we played very well in Bloemfontein. It was just unfortunate. I don't have to solidify anything, because that one is not up to me. I can only control what is in front of me, but what is not in my control, I will always allow God to play his part. So I'm just happy with what I'm seeing in the group. I think the team is playing the way I want to play, but I was just unhappy that we were not as clinical as I would have loved, because it is a sad story that a team that scores 12 goals in a competition of 4 matches ends up not winning that competition. It's very sad, because that return in terms of the number of goals we scored is a very good return.
Mngqithi here from Teta FM. Coach, looking at your squad, you have a very big squad. Will we be seeing more of squad rotation in the game that you'll be playing tomorrow?
You can never be sure about that one. It will depend on what we see from everything that we have to look at and all the metrics, and make decisions based on what we feel objectively will make sense to us. But if we happen to make rotations, it would mean it's what we felt is necessary. But if we feel we can go with the same group, because we believe that group is good enough to win any match, we can go with the same group. But it will just depend on what we see physiologically more than anything else, not in terms of quality. But physiologically, I think that is where the decisions will have to be taken.